Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where we provide world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Our show today is A Woman's Prerogative, Part 1, in partnership with E360 TV. A warm welcome to our loyal viewers and our friends at E360 TV. And a hello to all of our friends on all our usual social media platforms, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, and X. Today's topic is going to be a really fun one and an interesting one. I'm interested to hear what our panelist has to say about this. It's the great debate: remote work versus office life in today's world. I'm really interested in this particular topic because the world has changed a lot in recent years. I'm Caroline HEWARD. I'm known as the Harley Street Stress Expert, and I'm your host, and I'm a TV presenter on USA Global TV and Radio and resident therapist. I'm absolutely thrilled and honoured to be representing Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck as your host for USA Global TV and Radio's flagship show, A Woman's Prerogative. I'm joined today by a wonderful full-time panelist, Reverend LYDIA FOUGERES, and I'm looking forward to hearing her thoughts on tonight's topic. All the way from Canada, let's welcome Reverend LYDIA FOUGERES.
Hello.
Hello. Wonderful to have you here from snowy Canada.
Thank you very much. Yes, lots of snow, I have to admit. But
Reverend LYDIA, please introduce what you do and a little bit about how you help people for our viewers that are here for the first time, and also a reminder to our regular viewers.
Well, I'm a Reverend in metaphysics to start with. I'm an author. I write self-help books. I have written 2 so far. I'm writing my third. Well, I wrote my third one. It is going to be out very soon. I balance chakras. I am a listener also. I do help people in their journey on Earth. I do actually also work with aromatherapy. I help people with aromatherapy. I have a line of jewelry that will be available soon on Amazon. It will be, and I actually help in people to grow in their odyssey on Earth. For the journey is quite difficult, and some people have trouble to adapt. So I do help them because I also am a holistic nurse, a registered nurse, a holistic nurse, but retired. So I still help doing that. Thank you.
LYDIA, I love what you do. It's so wide and varied and similar. You covering similar things to what I do as well, and it's just wonderful how far you've taken your work, what you do. So for me, I'm known as the Harley Street Stress Expert, and I help people bust their stress. I work with root cause therapy and chakra psychology, and I identify the root cause of what created the very first recognition of that symptom, whether it's physical, emotional, mental, behavioral. So whether it's a physical ache and pain, whether it's mental in terms of anxiety, stress, depression, anger, or whether it's behavioral in terms of affecting and coming up within your relationships, friendships, and professional relationships. I help identify what caused and where it first initiated within your life and break through the pattern, the repeating pattern of what creates your everyday stress, however it appears in your life. I work one-to-one, online and face-to-face, and I also provide lunch and learn educational talks for corporates online and also face-to-face. I'm doing a face-to-face lunch and learn workshop on Wednesday morning at a corporate in Birmingham, and I'm really looking forward to doing that. So now let's get into our topic, Reverend Lydia. So for you, what's your personal preference? I realize that the kind of work that you do probably is guided from your own perspective of working from home. But what's your personal preference in terms of remote work or office work? And I'm looking at in your past career, whether you preferred working in the office or whether you preferred coming home and working remotely. So what's your thoughts? Or is it a mixture of both?
Well, as a registered nurse, I actually had to be at the hospital. And actually, I was really happy to be at the hospital amongst the patients. I was really, really thrilled every single day. It was a great day for me, and I was happy to help. When it became easier to work from the distance from home, actually, it was on Zoom. It was easier to work with patients on Zoom, listening to them, helping them from the distance. And it became a second way of working. I adapted to it after leaving the hospital, and it became easy. And the traffic, actually, you're not in the traffic anymore. So you have more time for your clients because you're not losing 2 hours of your day in traffic. So that is the way I see it, Caroline.
Well, I'm not too dissimilar, Reverend Lydia. From my perspective, I've been working from home for quite a long time and also going into Harley Street, so that being office-based or going into companies. And I too would agree with you about the travel. I'm saving an absolute enormous amount of time by not traveling into the centre of London, even when I was working in London. Traveling into the centre of London and coming back and saving an enormous amount of money as well in travel. And now I'm not living in the capital in London. I'm saving a real astronomical fortune by not having to get train fares to and from the capital. And from my perspective, and I do want to share this because I shared this with somebody very recently, that when the world changed and we went online in March 2020, I was very resistant about going online, extremely resistant, because I was very much a face-to-face person. And I wanted to hold my stance on face-to-face. I didn't want to lose it. So I didn't really engage very much in the Zoom. And when I did, I felt not great. I felt very headachy, and it was all too much. And I think that when we're resistant, then things can come up. And the resistance literally died overnight in October 2020 when my trusty 13-year-old computer completely collapsed and stopped working. And I had to get up to date technology, and one of my friends helped me get a new laptop because she said that's the way to work. And she spent time and chose the right kind of laptop for me and set it up. And I didn't like it because I was used to a big PC on my desk. And I also bought a PC to replace the old one because I found that working on a laptop was just not my thing. I much prefer the bigger keyboard. Something interesting happened. When I got the technology sorted out, it was within a few days, probably 3 or 4 days, I had an invitation to speak to a group of women in Nigeria as a therapist, and they openly welcomed me for what I shared with them. And then the invitation started coming. It's almost like they knew that my technology had changed and I was available, and the technology was better and it was faster and more efficient. So my world overnight became international, where I didn't have to leave my home. I didn't have any costly airfares. And more to the point, I reached people that really needed my help that I didn't think was possible in a face-to-face situation. But online, it changed my world. It moved me from being local to global. What are your thoughts about what I've just shared with you, Reverend Lydia?
Well, I think everything is right. I, for my part, actually had a lot of help from Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. She is the one that opened the world to me because I was having conferences with on Zoom and so on. But Dr. Kerbeck, that has Global TV, actually is the one that taught me many ways to actually communicate to others, because Dr. Kerbeck has a lot of knowledge, and she is open to teach to us. So for those that actually want to learn, she is the person to know, actually, because we learn so much by knowing her and being on her shows. We actually know a lot. So she is the one that opened my world because I was not ready. I was not really willing. So for me, it was just Zoom. That was all. But going on television was not really my thing yet. And everything changed. So I was having Zoom conferences, it was fine. But my world really did open because Dr. Kerbeck opened my world. That is the way it was, Kathy.
I can attest the same thing, Reverend Lydia, that my world changed from being global in a small way to being global in a large way when I joined Dr. Jacalyn's channel. And I didn't ever think that I was capable and had enough material or content to do live television. I was okay with my one-to-ones and playing small and doing my average talks on stage where I would have a small slot. And they were not that often, there were 3 or 4 times or 5 times a year. And I was comfortable with that. But when the stage work stopped and everything went online, and I was pushed to a place where I was uncomfortable by one of my amazing mentors, Philip Chan, to do my first interview. And I said, oh, no, I'm not good enough. But the thing that occurred to me is that I had and felt that I wanted to leave a legacy, and that was my purpose, to leave a legacy long after I'm gone and to help many other people that are suffering with anxiety, depression, and stress. And it was like the mission and my purpose, my personal mission, overcame my ego. And at the end of my first interview, Dr. Jacalyn was so impressed. It was a 20-minute interview that lasted an hour, and then I was invited to be part of the team. I didn't think at any point in those early months that I had enough content or enough to keep going. And I'm here 3.5 years later. So I've grown enormously, and I didn't have any understanding about how to set up a studio. And Dr. Jacalyn has been an incredible mentor and friend, and in deepest gratitude for helping me set up a studio. I've actually taken pictures of my studio and shown it to people, and they've usually commented, "Oh, wow, that's amazing." So my world changed, and it was because I got out of my ego and I got out of my "I'm not good enough," and the mission and purpose became more than my stuff, my lack of confidence. And I do prepare. I make sure that I've got what I want to say, because I don't want to lose myself, because I do tend to go off on a tangent. So I prepare. But the biggest thing for me is the recognition of being here and people seeing and being able to watch the shows. And it will leave a legacy long, long after I'm not of this earthbound place. And I'm hoping that it will help many people that I would never, ever have reached. So yes, from my perspective, the remote work of not having to go to USA to be in Dr. Jacalyn's home studio is really cool for me. So, Reverend Lydia, how has the shift to remote work or hybrid work, how has that impacted your particular industry?
Well, it did impact because I had more clients. It was not possible to see people face to face while it was COVID. So I was able to see them remotely. So that was really something amazing. There were lots of people in distress. So seeing people in distress remotely was helping a lot. And there were lots of people that were in residence, some people that were very aged, that the families were nice enough to organize the internet, and they were prisoners of their rooms. So being prisoners of their room, I was able to talk to them, I was able to reassure them, I was able to listen to them, which was, I think it was worth everything. It was easier for them not to go in depression because they had someone that could listen to them. So I did my volunteer work remotely because I believe in volunteer work, and I was doing my volunteer work remotely. So that is the way actually it helped for me. It changed my world, absolutely. So yes, it was great.
I can agree with you there again. It changed my world, and I started to do online client sessions, but I didn't thrive in that environment very well because I found it very difficult. I was longing and hoping that the face-to-face world would come back. So I didn't thrive at the beginning in that online world, because I'm very much an extrovert and preferred that social and physical interaction. So it was very challenging for me, and that obviously showed up in the early part of moving online. The talks went well, but the individual face-to-face was not so easy for me because I was still internally wanting that face-to-face to come back. So do you think, Reverend Lydia, that remote working is here to stay?
Absolutely. I am convinced that remote work is there to stay. Actually, my daughter, my youngest daughter, works remotely 3 days a week and 2 days at the office, and it's implemented. So now it works that way because it is amazing what they can do from home, and they only have to go to the office twice a week. So meetings and so on. So they do so much just from the office. I do everything remotely. I do not even have to go anywhere anymore. I do everything remotely, which is absolutely amazing. I do not travel anymore at all. So I have people that I know that travel 2.5 hours in the morning, 2.5 hours in the evening to go to work. They do that 5 days a week. Can you imagine you lose 5 hours of your day traveling? When you think about the price of traveling nowadays, this is incredible that we can work in the comfort of our homes. That is how I see it, Caroline.
I agree with you on many levels in terms of the cost and the travel. But I do feel that my home now is my office. And for many people that are in families, I mean, we're both very luxurious in the fact that we live alone. But many people that are working remotely and that have families, children and partners, and they're trying to find space to work. And if both parents are at home working and the children are at home, I just wonder, and it makes me feel very compromised if I was in that position, that it would be very difficult. And I've certainly spoken to a lot of people, certainly in the city particularly, that were just sent home and they had to work from home. And so all of them were working from home. And it was difficult for them to get quiet space. It was difficult for them to concentrate. There was the constant disruptions. And I just wonder whether that was productive personally, because the home then became the office and there was no escape. And I took a lot of calls from people that were severely stressed, unlike yourself and myself, where we work from home, so we can create that space and we haven't got anybody interfering in it. And it was a topic of great stress for many people, because they used the office as a getting away. They used the office as a time to chat and a time to have a coffee and socialize and go to the sandwich bar and go to the bar for a drink after work. But all of that stopped. What are your thoughts about what I've just shared in terms of the challenges of people in families working from home, Reverend Lydia?
I do think exactly the same thing as you, because we are privileged to live alone. We are absolutely privileged. Well, I live part-time alone, but we are absolutely privileged. I think about my children that actually have children at home, work from home, and actually there is noise and they have to be in their bedrooms. They are stranded. They are actually stranded there. And those 2 days where they actually leave for the office, it is fun for them to go and cheer up and have fun and go have coffee. And they stop and they go eat at the restaurant on their way back. So it is a way to actually relax, to leave home. Because when you think about that, when you have small children and you are stranded at home 7 days a week, this is quite stressful. So I say the same thing as you. You are absolutely right on everything, Caroline.
Stranded is an interesting word, a really interesting concept, feeling stranded at home. And never would we think about feeling stranded previously as working from home and living from home. But when you're with your family, children and your partner 24/7, working, sleeping, and doing all the everyday chores, it will become even more difficult to circumnavigate those idiosyncrasies of being with someone for that length of time. And even though you might be totally in love with them and really happy with them, I'm sure that it will create some internal challenges and external challenges in terms of you're at home, so you can put the washing on, you're at home, so you can boil the kettle and make a drink for everybody. But this is something that brings me on to my next question: productivity. Do you think that productivity would be as great for people in that kind of situation working from home as opposed to working in the office? My personal view is that I've heard so many people being challenged by the personal distractions that productivity for many people goes down. I'd be interested to hear your views and your thoughts on productivity.
Well, I think productivity has to do with discipline. If a person is disciplined, no matter where they are, they will be productive. If they are easy actually to be off track, they will not be productive at all. They will want to do something else. They will want to have more time off. They will want to be off work instead of working what they have to do. That is the way they will be if they have no discipline. So everything has to do with discipline. So that is the way we have to look at things. Productivity has to do with the way we act also. If we are disciplined, we are productive no matter where we are. But there is also the environment that can stop us from being productive. We have to think about the environment also. If we have a child that is 4 years old that starts screaming while we are in a meeting, well, that can stop productivity quite fast. So, productivity is a matter of discipline, but it's a matter also of environment. It Everything can actually go off track if things do not go well at home. When you are at the office, you are productive because the office is actually the environment that is required for work. That is the way I see it. That is the way I see it, Caroline.
I'm totally in agreement with you. And at the same time, there's a lot of people that have got into the flexibility of working from home and don't want to go back to work. And then on the other side of that, there's many people that are going working in the office and don't want to go home. So there's two sides to that coin. And there is a number of companies trying their best to get workers back into the office. And there has been challenges with getting certainly the younger people back into the office because they have the flexibility and they might not have challenges at home. They have the flexibility to do other things that they want to do and play games or go out with their friends and still do the work that they need to do. So I do feel that, this is the debate of the remote working, that, I feel that it's a compromise, but how far does a company go in terms of its compromise? And I wonder and think about the technology requirements and certainly security. Is security going to be compromised when people are working away from the office? I've certainly seen more breaches in terms of banks and the larger organizations having breaches because they're having work emails on their phone and responding from home. What are your thoughts on the security breaches and security risks of personal data being mismanaged when people are working from home, Reverend Lydia?
Well, Caroline, what I do think is that let us take the example of nursing. Nurses that actually work away from the hospital, that keep the records of the data, the records of their patients. Well, it's in the computer and the entire family can see what's written. So this is actually not a very good idea. So everyone can actually go into the computer. Even some people actually share their password. And I saw cases where a husband was actually reading the chart. So this is completely illogical. So it has to do with also the maturity of the person that is in charge. If a person that is in charge has no maturity whatsoever, there will be breach. It is absolutely positive that there will be breach. Security is in danger with at home work, that is for sure. With remote work, security is actually at risk, a lot more at risk. So I am talking about charts, but there is banks, there is everything. Clients' information appear on the screen. We do not know who is looking at the screen. People are actually, we're talking to an agent that is in their kitchen. Their entire family may be looking at our bank account. Who knows? The only thing we can do is hope that it is actually not happening. That is the way I see it. So we just have to hope, Caroline. We just have to hope and pray that it is not happening.
Well, it's trust, isn't it? Trust of the employee. And this is one of the things, especially with banks, insurance, nursing, patient records, there is very much a drive to have video phone calls from doctors, from the NHS consultants, calling the patients from home and from remote locations. So this is definitely something that I feel that the probably will be some changes in legislation and changes in the way that working from home or remotely and access to private and confidential information. And we're still very early days in that. And this is why there has been a lot of breaches. And that just brings me very quickly, and we're almost at the end of our show. Gosh, that's gone very quickly. But I want to talk about very quickly collaboration and teams. And I've seen and been participating in a number of team calls. And that's where the teams get on to a team meeting. And you just have it's a bit like Zoom, but it's in a company team meeting. I've done a few of those, and they felt a little estranged, apart from not having a boardroom a table in the middle of it, and yet it still was productive. It's just a combination of having good boundaries, listening, and being able to hear everything that's being said. And collaboration is collaboration suffering. So we're in our last couple of minutes of the show. So what are your thoughts very quickly, Reverend Lydia, on collaboration and teams and the technology?
Well, I do think it's important, actually. Collaboration is really important. And I will make a little joke about that because, when there's a team meeting, there is always donuts and coffee. So you cannot share donuts and coffee when no one is there. So that is the part of having fun. You share a lunch, you share information, you actually ask, how are you? What is going on? How are your children? You're asking questions that when you're having a team meeting on Zoom or whatever, you do not have that kind of camaraderie in a meeting that is online. You cannot have that. It is absolutely impossible. So this is the lack actually in these online meetings that I see. They are nice to have because you do not have to dress up and the entire thing, but at the same time, you miss on many things because there is a lot of fun in meetings. It's not always serious. There is a lot of nice things, nice exchanges in meetings. I love board meetings.
I'm in agreement with you. I want to come to your meetings where they do donuts Please, Reverend Lydia, in our final couple of minutes, please share with our viewers how they can reach you.
Okay, they can reach me at 1-514-582-6882, 1-514-582-6882. I do speak fluent French also, so I do chakra balancing, I listen, I help. I have a background in psychiatry, so I do help. They can join me also in Diva Divine Mother _ on Instagram. And when it comes to my books, they can actually get them on Amazon. They can write to me at greatdivinemother@gmail.com. So that is greatdivinemother@gmail.com. I always answer. I always do answer. It might take a little bit of time, but I do answer at all times. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Reverend Lydia. What an incredible show it's been. How fast-paced we have moved through this show. For me, I'm known as the Harley Street Stress Expert, and I help people bust their stress. You can reach me on nomorestress@live.co.uk. That's email, or call me +44 if you're international. If you're local, 07523120189. You can follow me on LinkedIn and Facebook. Those are my two preferred channels, and I'm just doing more posts on Instagram. Well, that's it. Thank you, Reverend Lydia. It's been a riveting show. That's A Woman's Prerogative Part 1, where we have been discussing the great debate, remote work versus office life in today's world. Thank you very much, everybody. It's been a wonderful show. It's been great to share this tonight with you, and I look forward to seeing you for A Woman's Prerogative Part 2 at 9 o'clock GMT time and 4 p.m. Eastern time. Just before we go, please join our VIP exclusive community and become an exclusive VIP community member. Have first access to our newest videos, photographs, and insights on the British royal family, live streamed on USA Global TV and Radio and YouTube. And now, over to our sponsors. Thank you very much if you've been watching on the live or the replay. See you this time next week. Bye-bye for now.
USA Global TV and Radio proudly presents our partner and sponsor, Mr. Philip Sykes and the British School of Excellence. Building confidence, changing lives. And now, proudly presenting The Polished Professional.
On a transformative journey with the British School of Excellence's comprehensive suite of masterclasses, crafted to elevate your professional and personal life. 8 outstanding modules will elevate you to the next level. Module 1, Exploring Life's Purpose, delves into the depths of self-discovery, guiding you to chart your unique path to fulfillment and success. Module 2, Mastering Professional Presence and Confidence. This masterclass is a deep dive into the art of self-assurance and commanding presence, which is essential for standing out in today's competitive landscape. Module 3, Learn the secrets of visual impact, how to curate a personal style that amplifies your professional brand. Module 4, Mastering Professional Etiquette and Communication Excellence, navigating the nuances of corporate interaction with grace and tact. Module 5, Elegance in Eloquence. We impart powerful techniques to captivate and persuade any audience with your oratory skills. Module 6, Unlock the potential of your emotional intelligence, EQ, and harness the ability to connect, empathize, and lead with emotional savvy. Module 7, Mastering DISC, building a gateway to understanding behavioral styles, fostering better personal and professional relationships. Module 8, Mastery in Dining Etiquette, building your confidence to perfect the subtleties of dining with finesse, enhancing your social savviness at any table. Step into the Polished Professional program where poise, elegance, and excellence aren't just taught, they're instilled for life. Join us to redefine your potential and polish your professional edge.
To learn more, go to thebritishschoolofexcellence.com. The British School of Excellence are investors in people. Let us invest in you. 5 little known secrets for dementia caregivers with Tracy Cram-Perkins.
Hi there, I am Tracy Cram-Perkins, the host of the Dementia Home Care Show here on USA Global TV and Radio. I am also the author of the book of the same name. And you'll see this QR code. This is for an extended version of the same talk. So if you want to see the full hour-long version, feel free to scan the code and go to that website. Stick with me. We'll talk about 5 little known secrets to make it a little easier to do dementia caregiving. What you're seeing on the left-hand side is a healthy aged brain, age 55 and above. The one you're seeing on the right is an Alzheimer's disease brain. It is in moderate disease. It is shrinking. It has holes in it. The memories that were in those holes no longer exist. When you're learning something, let's say in kindergarten, you learn how to tie your shoelace. Well, then by the time you're in 2nd grade, your brain remembers that information from tying the shoelace and applies it so you can learn more quickly how to tie more complex knots. So the brain is hardwired to do this for us, so it helps us learn faster so it doesn't take us long to acquire knowledge. The brain is looking for the information and they pick the closest to wherever that hole is. Let's look at some tips that we can use to help do that. These are 5 simple tools you can use as a dementia caregiver to help your loved one. The whiteboard is a useful tool in recording the day's activities and the answers to repetitive questions. The calendar clock is a very useful tool to orient your loved one on the day, the date, and the time, and remind them of upcoming appointments. The communication cards are a great tool to bridge the gap when they can no longer tell you what's wrong. And then there's the pill minder for when your loved one is still able to take pills but needs prompting. The final tool I want to share with you is the memory book. It tells your loved one's story. It's a great tool for distraction, redirection, also as a conversation starter, and telling you where they are in their story so you know how to answer their questions. Music is probably the most powerful tool in your toolbox after laughter. Music is a way to maintain connection. It sticks with your brain longer than any other thing, including reading. When you're having an issue with somebody, you can play their favorite music if you move them to another room, something that makes them happy, or you can start singing songs together from their childhood. These are some of my favorite books for caregivers. My show airs on the 3rd Tuesday of every month, and you can view past episodes on YouTube. Thank you, everyone.
This program has been brought to you in part by Tracy Cram-Perkins. Connect with her and order her book at tracycramperkins.com. For more information about Alzheimer's disease, support resources, and how you can help, contact the Alzheimer's Association at 1-800-272-3900 or visit their website at www.alz.org. They offer 24/7 helpline support and a wealth of information to assist you and your loved ones.
USA Global TV and Radio, in partnership with Dr. Jacalyn LLC, present Amazon #1 best-selling author, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck is a certified life, career, and executive coach who teaches people how to listen at an elevated level through her courses and her books. Dr. Kerbeck teaches her clients how to open their hearts and express themselves through their creative genius. In her children's book series, The Amazing Adventures of Lady Ella, The Listening Mentor, Dr. Kerbeck teaches children and their families how to listen at an elevated level. Dr. Kerbeck has worked with clients across the world to guide them in how to express themselves and communicate at a highly effective level. Join our team of elevated listeners so you can listen without judgment, without providing a solution, without interruption, and without stealing the stage. To order your books today, go to drjacalyn.com or Amazon.